Hello, my name is Benjamin Haig. This is not the name I was born with. This is the name I chose for myself. I am here to share with you a tragedy that happened to my family this past summer and how rediscovering my identity and renewing myself is helping me through it. I was born in Beirut, Lebanon. My parents named me Nabi after my grandfather and his grandfather. The name Nabi has been in my family for generations. And when my parents gave me that name, they gave me an identity, and I became me. As a child, I didn't know much, but I knew my name. It was the first thing I ever learned how to spell. Giving things names is very important for us humans. We even do it to things that aren't humans and objects. How many of us here has a dog named Cooper or Charlie? Or how many of us has a name for their car? My car's name is B. And when I put B for sale, I was so sad because I thought, surely she's thinking, what a betrayal. The Transactional Analysis Journal has a research, and it says that when we give things names, we create a connection between us and those things. So when something happens to those things, we feel saddened and grief. When my parents gave me my name, they gave me an identity filled with expectations. The name Nabi means witty and intelligent. And so growing up, my parents made education the center of my life. And at 18, they sent me to the United States for higher education. Back in Lebanon, the name Nabi is very common. So people knew how to say it. Once I got to the US, I realized that my short name is not as simple to pronounce. And so people misspelled my name and mispronounced it all the time. They called me Nabi, Nibi, Nabib, Habib, and my least favorite is Mambu. The Transactional Analysis Journal says that just like we give an identity to something or someone when we give them a name, we take that identity away when we take that name away. We rob people of their dignity when we rob them of their name. So suddenly, my name Nabi, which means witty and intelligent, did not mean that anymore. It meant that I was an outsider to my new home, that I have a story that the community I live in thinks is so strange. It meant that I was a stranger forever. My dad died at a young age, only about a year after I moved to the US. He was my connection to my heritage. And so when he passed away, that connection weakened. Years go by, and every year I am reminded of just how strange my name is in my new home. But I learned over the years to let the mispronunciations and misspelling of my name to roll off my back. My mom still lived in Lebanon, so I still had some connection to the country. So when people asked me where I was from, I would tell them the story of Lebanon with my mom in mind. You see, it was her home that I was describing. I saw my childhood through her. So as my mom lived on, my name also lived on. On August 4, 2020, there was a blast in the city of Beirut. More than 2,700 tons of ammonium nitrate detonated, causing the largest non-nuclear explosion in history. People in Cyprus, 150 miles away, heard the explosion. 215 people were killed, 300,000 people were displaced, and 7,500 people were injured. On that day, I was going on a bike ride when my brother and sister called me frantic. The explosion happened 5 blocks away from the Jemaise neighborhood where I grew up and where my family had lived for more than 3 generations. As they fought their way through the carnage, I tried unsuccessfully to reach my mom. By the time they got home, they found it to be destroyed, and my mom was severely injured. They rushed her to the hospital, to the surgery room, and for several hours, we waited for news. My mom had died. She was one of the 215 people killed in that blast. My sister is one of the 300,000 people displaced from the blast. This is a picture from our living room. You can see how close our home was to the port. So with this explosion, the last remaining affection I have to Lebanon was destroyed. The only thing that connected me through my name to my heritage is death and destruction in Beirut and eternal apprehension in the United States. You see, my parents named me Nabi after my grandfather and his grandfather because it represented our Lebanese heritage. And although that name has been in my family for generations, I am the first and only Nabi to not be living in Lebanon. And so when I think of myself and my identity and my heritage, and I think of my name, when I think of my parents when they gave me that name, when I think of the dreams they had for me, the city of Beirut that surrounded them when they made that decision, when they had those dreams, no longer exist. The image that my parents and the identity that my parents has given me through my name also no longer exist because they're both gone. So when I contemplate myself and I think about myself and my identity, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking of my future children. What kind of future do I want to pass on to them? I want them to have a future where they're free from the imprisoning chains of my own Lebanese heritage. I want them to have a future where they're free from the abuses of Lebanon. My story here today is one of heartbreak, but it's also one of healing. Because of all this tragedy, and despite all this tragedy, I still think that life is beautiful. My hope for the future greatly outweighs my despair. When I think of my story, I think of myself as someone who's learning and evolving. I'm someone who is forward-looking and excited for what comes next. So I changed my name not to escape my past. I am the totality of my experiences. My experiences make me uniquely me. But I changed my name because I want to be the narrator of my own story. Thank you.